Well, Manenberg in Cape Town is notorious for gang wars, and residents say that they live in constant fear when there's an escalation in the levels of violence. Following a bloody weekend in May, additional boots were on the ground. These are police officers who were deployed to quell the tensions in the community. Newzroom Afrika's Nasiphi Same is back there for us this lunchtime. Nasiphi, just how peaceful is Manenberg today?
Well, from what we are hearing, it's been fairly quiet in Manenberg, as you put it. Manenberg is notorious for gang wars, and the videos that usually circulate on social media in broad daylight, turf wars, people gunning or rather shooting at each other, and innocent bystanders and children being caught in that crossfire. But following that bloody weekend in March and the additional boots on the ground, it has been fairly quiet. But I'm joined by Vanessa, who's not only part of the CPF, but also a community member and a resident here, to talk to us. Vanessa, what could be behind the sudden silence? Was it because of those additional forces or boots on the ground that were added in May?
For sure, I can say the support of more services coming in is helping. However, I think the medal should go to the community itself, because there was a lot of engagement by us as the CPF, inclusive WhatsApps and the community stakeholders and the leaderships. So I would want to say the success for the war being a bit quiet, a lot of that goes to the community leaders. We had marches, we had interventions, we had follow-ups, we engaged with the bosses of those gangs. So I would say most of the successes goes to the community leaders themselves.
Vanessa, when you engage with the bosses of these gangs, as we do know that, as I mentioned, Manenberg is notorious for gang wars, what do you say to them? Do they live in the community?
Some of them live in the community, some of them don't live in the community. But what we can say is if we go and speak to them, they forever sit and listen to us. There is lots of discipline towards us as community leaders and the CPF, and they won't undermine us. We speak to them, we tell them, you guys claim that you are leaders, so we are coming as leaders of this community, and then we find a way how we can stop this war. And when we speak to them, we emphasize this is your families, your kids also goes to school in this communities, your mothers is also the pensioner here in this community, this is your sisters, this is your community. So basically that is how we attempt to them.
Manenberg for a number of years has been plagued with gang violence, or gun violence rather. What do you think is the reasons behind this?
I think that we can say, yes, there is. It can speak to the illegal of weapons in our communities, but also social illness in terms of poverty. That is that's most of the time what's leading our people to smuggle, because they cannot get a job and they need to support their family, and then they feel that is the only solution in order to put food on the table. So social illness is a bigger part that is causing this gang wars and this fight. And then also a part of this war also is because of turf. Now I need to put food on the table, and I'm selling illegal substance, and you need to put food on the table, and then we both want to smuggle at the same corner, and that is how the war starts.
Vanessa, you speak of a number of issues that obviously plague the community of Manenberg, which has led to the issues that is facing this community, which is gang violence and violent crimes. But what do you think, or rather do you think that there is a solution, or there is any will from government to tend to these issues that you speak of?
Let me be honest here today in saying that we as the colored people feel there is no political solution for our people, because we feel that government has forgotten us. As a community, we feel that government is failing us because they don't adhere to our plights. Also, it starts at local level. When you have councillors that is paying lots of money, but they most of the time absent, how do you expect a community like that to be uplifted? And also the only thing that politicians does is they divide our people. So I can confidently say that our communities feel there is no political solution for our people. You only see the politicians when it's voting time. But other than that, you don't see them. you only hear of them if they're coming to divide our communities. We don't feel there's any political solution for our people.
In a state of hopelessness, Vanessa, that you obviously speak of, when we were here in May and following that imbizo by the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, we heard a community gripped with fear and not knowing where to turn. But paint for us a picture when, Manenberg is experiencing these turf wars. What happens? Are children allowed to go to school? What usually happens?
Yeah, there was quite a few number of issues even, and killings after the minister was here. The sad part is, in that week that we hosted the minister, the national minister, we also hosted the deputy minister, and we also had Alan Windy here in 1 week. And a person who wanted to believe that there's going to be some change. When this gang wars is going on, the sad part is that our kids cannot go to school. Our people cannot go to work. There was a Nyanga issue where our people that was waiting to go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, they were shot at Nyanga station. So a person can only understand how deep it goes. So then we have to depend on community organization, volunteers like the CPF, like the neighborhood watches, like the walking buses. And we spoke to minister, we spoke to all levels of government in supporting these initiatives. Come and help us, equip us as volunteers. And up till today, it's all in the newspapers. They are sending so much millions and millions to support the volunteers, but we see nothing that is happening down here in the communities. No upliftment for the volunteers, because we are the first people that deal with these issues.
And how is the police visibility in the community?
I can honestly say that Manenberg SAPS is working hard. However, there's a lack here because of staff and they are also not fully equipped because they don't only serve the community of Manenberg, they also serve the community of Heideveld as much as Tambo Village also at the back. So they understaff here, and yes, there was a bit of support in giving them 1 or 2 more vehicles, but the police has been visible in the community, but they are not enough. And we pleaded to all levels of government, send us more assistance in terms of LEAP. We are seeing LEAP here. We would love to see LEAP here to stay here in the communities.
Thank you so much, Vanessa there, CPF in Manenberg, obviously highlighting to us the challenges that this community has in regards to violent crime, gang wars and turf wars, as she put it. And the root cause of this, according to Vanessa, is social ills and the lack of political will from officials that have been put in various powers, rather, to tend to the issues that this community is plagued with. However, Vanessa saying that, the silence, or rather the quietness in regards to the violent crimes in this community, is a hat off to the community members and crime fighting structures that have come together in conjunction with SAPS to work together in containing this violence, and also speaking to the alleged bosses of the gangs in the community of Manenberg to obviously ask them to basically cease fire.
Nasiphi Same, thank you very much for that update from Manenberg this afternoon.